Hello, Fort Belvoir. Welcome to Belvoir in the Know, the only podcast created especially for the Fort Belvoir community to help you stay in the know, on the go. And now, your Fort Belvoir Garrison Commander.
Hello, Fort Belvoir. I'm Colonel Josh Seagraves, the Garrison Commander. And on today's podcast, our topic is Sexual Assault and Prevention Month. Today, our lead sexual assault response coordinator, Ms. Janita Reed-Latson, joins us to discuss Sexual Assault and Prevention Month and the Army's Sexual Harassment and Assault Response and Prevention Program. So, welcome, Janita. Thanks for being here today. We're going to discuss how we can help stop sexual assaults and what to do if you or someone you know is a victim of sexual assault. Janita, I'd like to just start out by getting to know a little bit about you and letting our listeners know a little about you. So with that, what's a little known fact about you that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yes, sir. Thank you. First, I would like to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak about the Army and the Fort Belvoir SHARP program. And of course, as you stated before, this month is April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness Prevention Month. So a little bit about me, sir. I recently transitioned from Joint Base Lewis McChord, Washington, June 2020, just to move closer to home. I was born in Fort Bragg, raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina, until I enlisted into the Army. I enlisted in the MP4 as an internment resettlement specialist. Now is known as detention NCO, but a lot of people can relate to it being a correctional officer. I served 22 years in that field, worked in 4 different correctional facilities, 2 deployments to Iraq, as well as detention facilities in Guantanamo Bay. So I have a little bit of firsthand knowledge that the system does work and individuals do receive jail time as a punishment for committing such crimes as sexual assaults.
Okay, yeah, wow, that's a lot of experience bringing to the table, and certainly great to have you with the Army, given all of that requisite experience. So, what led you to become a sexual assault response coordinator?
So as a young NCO, I attended SHARP training. I don't think it necessarily was called SHARP back in 2008 or so, but I was actually in shock that sexual harassment and sexual assault was actually an issue, a huge issue in the military, whereas a program had to be implemented to assist. So I wanted to become a change agent, and I always had the desire to help someone in need. So I have been in the SHARP field for a while, since 2008, and I served in various positions as a service member within the SHARP program, ranging from a UVA, which was an old term when the program initially kicked off, a victim advocate. I was a battalion collateral duty SARC as well as a brigade SARC, and now I have the opportunity to be an installation SARC. So that's what kind of led me to become a sexual assault response coordinator, just to assist those in need.
No, it's officers and NCOs, but it's really part of what we now call the people first strategy, and really it's connected and engaged leadership. So yeah, absolutely. So you said 2008, but sort of like without revealing your age, I don't know. Did you work as a victim advocate or UVA before then?
Not necessarily. I was just a young NCO back then. I think I just returned back from a deployment to Iraq. And so, of course, they asked for volunteers to attend training. And so I am volunteered. And so that's where I kicked off my career within the SHARP program.
So as our new lead and as you lead our sexual assault response program, what are some of your goals and expectations for our SHARP office on Fort Belvoir?
Well, some of my goals and expectations here is to kind of reestablish the program here at Belvoir. I am aware that the Garrison position here has been vacant for quite some time. And I'm very appreciative of the SARCs and VAs that stood in the gap in order for Fort Belvoir SHARP program to continue on with the mission here. But reestablishing our presence is key. Myself and Ms. Jules, we want to get out there in the formations, to let everyone know that we're here. The SARC and the victim advocate is back on Belvoir.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, and I was just saying too, sir, just secondly, that kind of goes back into what I was saying, just secondly, networking. I like to meet people, and of course, it's been very difficult during this COVID era, but I feel that in order to be successful, we have to get out in the commands, show our face, reassure soldiers, civilians, and family members that we are here to support them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and as you mentioned, we've got some great partners on Fort Belvoir that helped fill the gap while we were completing all the requirements and training for both you and Ms. Bird. So absolutely, thanks to our mission partners for helping out with that. And as you mentioned, so April is Sexual Assault Prevention Month. What observances or events have we had on post, and more importantly, what's left? Like, what else is coming up?
Okay, sir. So the observances that we had so far on post, we had the 30-day challenge that was sent out to leaders for them to engage conversation with their team. We had Teal Tuesdays, wearing teal, support the program and what we stand for. Currently, we have the virtual 5K. I think we had a good bit of individuals that signed up. They came here to pick up this shirt at the Sharp Resource Center. So I was able to capture a couple of pictures, as long as they agreed. We partnered with MWR and they made sure that we was able to advertise and get that out there. So what we do have coming up, sir, the 28th April, we have Denim Day. I'm not for sure if you know what Denim Day is, or do you want me to expound on that, sir?
Yeah. Go ahead and tell everybody about it.
Okay, so Denim Day is a campaign on a Wednesday in April in honor of Sexual Assault Awareness Prevention Month. And the campaign came about after a ruling by the Italian Supreme Court where a rape conviction was overturned because the justices felt that since the victim was wearing tight jeans, she must have helped the person who raped her remove her jeans, thereby implying consent. So what happened was the following day, the women in the Italian parliament came to work wearing jeans in solidarity with the victim. So Peace Over Violence developed the Denim Day campaign in response to this case and the activism surrounding it. So since then, what was started as a local campaign to bring awareness to victim blaming and destructive myths that surround sexual violence has grown into a movement. This has been the longest running sexual violence prevention and education campaign in history. So April 28th is Denim Day. So I'm hoping everyone wear jeans that day, so we can still support with bringing awareness to victim blaming and debunking myths. So that's pretty much, sir, the story behind how Denim Day came about.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I'd heard that once before, and that's just a powerful story, and that's just a good one to share. So thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Yes,
and so what's your takeaway from that is wear your denim on the 28th.
Wear your denim, yes, sir.
Okay, so our Sharp Facebook page. I've noticed some posts about Sexual Assault and Prevention Month, the 30-day challenge. We just talked a little bit about one of the other events. Can you talk a little bit about the 30-day challenge for a minute?
Yeah, so the 30-day challenge is pretty much statements or conversation starters with leaders and their team, squad leaders, team members, or even family members can actually, have use these questions to talk maybe with their kids or peers or co-workers and so forth. So every day I try to post the challenge of the day on there so individuals can bring some awareness and prevention to Sample Month.
Yep, absolutely. I think things like that, like Sharp, like the diversity and inclusion, like the extremism training, those things kind of come down to what we talked a little bit about before, and that's people first, and it's engaged leadership. It's leaders. And it's leaders at every level, it's family members and soldiers that are willing to have those conversations and talk about the importance of these programs. So yeah, I think that's a really good one, and a good way just to not only maybe start the conversation in some areas, but also just continue the conversation in others. So good, those are good posts. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
And then before we close, I think we need to hit on at least one more thing. So I know there have been some recent policy changes concerning reporting a sexual assault and support from family members, and a change to the transfer policy. Can you talk a little bit about those changes and the impact they're having, or the impact that they may have?
Okay, so the expedited transfer policy has been updated and extended out to family members. So that's one of the key changes of the policy, being extended out to family members that are over the age of 18. So, of course, the family member has to file an unrestricted report, and the soldier has to submit a request, which is a 4187, through their chain of command to get approved as well. If we're saying that the family member was the one that was actually sexually assaulted, the soldier can move, so that family member can have a new start, because of what had happened. That's one great change for the family member as well as the soldier in order to move together. But of course, once the soldier sends everything up, the chain of command has to approve it. And then, the SARC is involved with just engaging with the family member to ensure, just to provide that case management piece and advocacy to ensure that this will be a smooth transition for the family member and the soldier.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that, not that my opinion matters on it, but I think that was a good change to the policy. And I think it's an important one that commanders certainly consider reporting if anyone has an unfortunate event in the family. So yeah, that's good. Yes. Thank you. Thanks for the update there.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you, Janita. I appreciate everything today. I appreciate you joining us and all of your expert knowledge, as well as your service and background knowledge. And we are grateful to have you on the Fort Belvoir team. I'd like to encourage our listeners to get involved and show your support for the SHARP program. So go to and like the SHARP Facebook page. It's at Belvoir SHARP. Participate by reading and putting into practice the information given in the 30-day challenge that Janita talked about. And for the runners in the audience, sign up for the SHARP 5K. Remember that sexual harassment and sexual assault simply don't belong in our Army. For all of our listeners, we've come to the end of another podcast. I'd like to once again thank Ms. Janita Reed-Latson and our Fort Belvoir Garrison Lead Sexual Assault Response Coordinator for joining us today. And as always, thanks to our listeners. And finally, remember, don't forget to download the Army's Digital Garrison app. Make Fort Belvoir your installation of choice. Connect with us on our website and Facebook page for all things Belvoir. Wash your hands, wear a mask, and watch your distance. And if you're eligible for the vaccine, I encourage everyone to get that when you become eligible. Thanks for joining us. And from me to you, now you know.